again, good friends. Welcome, new subscribers. I'm Brian from Apex Detail. Today we're going to continue on with the cutting compound series. I want to keep this rolling along because there's quite a few other series I'd like to get to at some point. It's just the time restraint is holding me back. This is my busy season. But we have some more series I want to take care of, some ultra fine polish. I want to take care of some medium cut compounds. We have the sealant madness waiting in the wings, all set up and ready to go. I have 2 boxes of sealants to put head to head. Again, we're going to probably save that for a little bit towards the end of my busy season where I have some more time to do that. It takes about an hour and a half to close to 2 hours sometimes filming and editing those videos there for the sealant madness. But they are fun. I'm looking forward to it. We will get to them. Just please be patient with me. Today we're going to continue on with the cutting compound series by looking at the Menzerna 1000. They have a group of compounds that are effective in cutting. The 1000, 300, 400. We've already taken a look at the 400. Today we'll take a look at the 1000 and then save the 300 for down the road a little bit. We have a car waiting out, ready to be corrected, so let's get out there, continue on with the review process. Today's project, moderate hardness clear coat on a GM. This is a black Corvette, not a re-upload. I get a ton of these to correct. Swirl marks, love marks, some scratches, nicks, and some other small imperfections to remove. I'm going to team up the Menzerna 1000 Super Heavy Cut with a rotary and a hybrid wool pad. I think that'll be perfect to get this correction going. Now, after this step, there's usually going to be some cloudiness or haziness left behind from such a coarse compound and being teamed up with a hybrid wool pad. Something else I'll share with you today is what I use to follow this step up with and bring the next step out to a nice, clear, sharp, glossy shine. Here we have some heavier scratches that'll have to be taken care of with some wet sanding or color sanding. I'll take care of that first. Coming in at a decent price, $23.75 for 32 ounces of the Menzerna Heavy Cut compound. I'm going to team that up with my favorite Lake Country microfiber cutting pads, and we're going to get to work on this GM clear coat. The formula claims to be able to remove scratches, overspray, and some pronounced signs of wear and tear rather quickly with no dust. We'll find out shortly. Now, even though we know the clear coat on GMs, Corvettes especially, fit into the group of clear coats that have some moderate hardness, however, everyone is still different, so we always mask off a small area to test. And what I do when I'm using the rotary is I'll spread some of the product evenly out on a panel. I will then follow up by priming the Lake Country microfiber pad with a little bit of quick detailer and 3 or 4 drops of the compound and sort of work it into the pad before I start to work that little test area. That may seem a little different to you, but there's no sling whatsoever. I don't have time to play games and play the pickup bead, the pickup line of bead. That's all fine when you're trying to shoot a fancy video, but I want to get some work done. I don't need extra work of sling, so I lay it down on the panel with a soft microfiber applicator and spread it out evenly, and we're just going to put some moderate pressure down on our rotary. I always tilt it on a slight 5 to 10 degree angle, 15 at most, depending on what pad I'm using. That gives you a nice soft glide with even pressure across the panel. Crisscross pattern, left to right, then up and down, depending on the hardness of the clear coat, especially if it's scratch resistant. You may need 2 passes. You might be able to get away with 1 pass. We'll see here. Alright, so some good signs from the Menzerna 1000. You can work it for a long time, let those abrasives break down, and the product, the formula, gives you just slight dusting, just a little bit. I can work with that. I can deal with that. I have the air chuck next to me. I'll just keep blowing off the area. When it comes to wiping off the residue, user-friendly, not hard to wipe off at all. And I'll remove the masking as quick as I can so we can see the contrast from the area I corrected to the area we left behind, and there's a huge difference. This stuff is going to work well here. Right here you can see some signs of that the slight dusting. So You know, the label said it's a no dust formula. Right there it shows you there is some slight dusting. Again, some of us can deal with that better than others. So the results, you know, they may outweigh that. All right, so I'm anxious to see what this hood and the whole front clip will look like actually. So I'm going to go ahead and cut. And this will also give me a chance to show you guys how to use the rotary and come up against some tight corners or curves, such as the character lines on the hood here. So I'm going to come up from the flat edge of the panel without tilting the rotary on just a crazy angle. You're going to see me come up from the flat and butt right up against the curved area or the corner or whatever you're going to come up against. And you'll see I won't tilt it, and I'm just going to come up and ride that line. And this right here is a no-no. That's the best chance of burning through a corner. If you're not comfortable with the peaks and ridges on those character lines, go ahead and lay down some masking tape. Better safe than sorry. Okay, so we have the hood's cut. The imperfections that I want to get at are gone, and we just have some very slight hazing left behind here and there. And later on in the video, I'm going to show you how to take care of that and what I use for the next step. And by the way, this combo, again, on moderate hardness clear coats. I've already showed you the combination on softer clear coats with following up with the Angel Wax Perfect Polish. And as you can see there using the light, all we have left that are imperfections are tiny stone chips. So when we take care of the front bumper here, we tape off what we want to protect, and then I'll show you what I use to tackle those. It's a nice, powerful 3-inch polisher, which is just a converted Torque 10X, taking off the 5-inch backing plate and spinning on a 3-inch. And it really makes for a nice, powerful 3-inch polisher. If you have the room for, you know, the handle and the trigger, it has a nice, slim, sleek body to it, but it is long. So if you do have room for this polisher, it's a nice, powerful one. I am going to feature this polisher in a dedicated video because it's actually great, and I'm happy when I get to use it because it's light, it's slim, it's sleek, it's easy to use, especially after a nice full day of long throw polishers, heavy polishers, and the rotary. This one here won't fight you. It's nice and smooth, it's quiet, it has a little bit of a whine to it sometimes. But it's real fun to use because it's tiny and light. Now I do need to add, when I have the 5-inch backing plate on there, I don't use it for much more than jeweling or applying waxes or sealants. It's not powerful when you have the bigger backing plates on and for larger areas, but in these smaller places, ideal. Now again, to reiterate, these compounds like Sonax and Menzerna and Jescar are formulated with the rotary in mind. Now it is a compliment to the chemists and whoever came up with these formulas that they really go well with anything. A dual action polisher, the rotary, those hybrid combinations like the Flex 3401 or the Roofs Melee. And moving right along with this Menzerna 1000, we have the whole front clip, the two fenders, the hood, the front bumper, completely cut. And I don't know if it picks it up, there's just a very slight haze that has to be worked over. So with this vehicle having a great foundation to work with, it's in great shape. After we get finished with this next step, it's going to look wet. So as we start working towards the rear of the car, the swirling or the love marks are getting a little bit worse as the rear of the car gets a little bit wider from the flared fender wells. We have the contrast here between the quarter panel, the rear quarter panel, and the door that has been cut. So I went ahead and cut the whole vehicle so we can get to the next portion of the video where I could share with you what I use on hard clear coats for the next step. to bring out that clarity, to bring out the gloss and the shine before we lay down some protection. If it would be the soft clear, I would maybe do 2 more steps, this and follow up with the Angel Wax Perfect Polish. But on these harder clears, we're going to take care of that haze with the Americana Global Finesse, an incredible product to do some ultra fine polishing, has some slight abrasives. You can work it for a long time, absolutely no dusting whatsoever, a pleasure to work with. And I team that up with either this one here, the Smart Pad, which is a polishing pad, or just the black finishing pad, depending on what type of clear and what I'm going after, what's in the budget, how many more steps I can do. So let me get started with this and we'll show you what this product can do. Alright, so my process, the first pass is going to have some moderate pressure on the polisher. The second pass, I'm going to let go of that pressure and just the weight of the polisher. Normally 5.5 pounds is average for some of these polishers. The third and fourth pass, I'm going to actually start to lift the weight of the polisher up a little bit and just barely graze, especially when we have these softer clear coats. That's the best way to jewel and best way to bring out incredible gloss and some of the wet look that you see on these vehicles at the end of the videos here. Once again, no dusting whatsoever. Wiping off the residue is just, you just need to swipe the rag over the area. It picks it up quickly, and what it leaves behind is very impressive. A very good step right before laying down protection. Do your IP wipe, clean up the area, and then lay down your wax, your sealant, or your coating. Here's the result, and I'm going to put links for both of the products, the Menzerna 1000 and the Finesse, down in the description area. You can look into them further, or when you run out of your current compound or finishing polish, you have this video to revert back to, and the links will always be there for you. Okay guys, again that was the Menzerna 1000 Super Heavy Cut. This was impressive enough that I'll at some point drag out the test panel. We'll do the testing on that and then I will rank it because I believe it's impressive enough to see how it fits in with our top compounds. A little bit of dusting, but incredible cut. You team that up with the rotary and the right pad. It'll take care of imperfections on the harder GM clear coats, Range Rover, and other scratch-resistant clears. So, if you have any questions on the compound, don't hesitate. This has been Brian from Apex Detail. Catch you in the next video.